Sam Darnold, 3 years, $110.5 million, I think it was. And look, I understand that you couldn't go into next season with Sam Howell out there at your starting quarterback, but oof. Last year's Sam Darnold was in the perfect situation. I think we can all say that was one of the best situations for a quarterback in the entire NFL. And this year, he steps into one of the worst situations for a quarterback in the NFL. I hate the move. I don't think it was a good one at all. So, yeah, I mean, we saw what happened when Sam Darnold goes and has all the pressure in the world on his shoulders, and he crumbled. So, good luck, Seattle.
I think that Sam is also still young. You look at his age, he's still 27 years old. I know he's been in the league for a minute and he's been on a lot of teams, but I think he's still growing. And in those times when he's crumbling under pressure, I think as a younger quarterback, you're still growing. And I think him getting that contract, I think it was great. I thought it was a slam dunk for Seattle. I think they got their guy. I think Sam's going to be a franchise quarterback for Seattle. They got 7 years younger from Geno Smith. And you're paying him almost the same amount as you would have paid Geno Smith anyway. I think I love the move for Seattle.
Yeah, I thought at first I read that and I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. But it says 3 years, 100.5.
Oh, could get up to 110?
Sure, that's probably what it is.
33 mil a year for
that's
not bad for this QB.
No, it's really not. Like for considering that a lot of people.
No, it's exactly Baker's contract.
Yeah, like considering that a lot of people thought he was going to get close to, if not north of 40, like, and they got him on, I think, a pretty good deal. I mean, he was in a great system last year. We know that, but he threw, what was it, 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns. Like he had a fantastic year. Like that's what you got to pay for a guy that puts up those kind of numbers. And I know the playoff stuff, and listen, that could just be who he is. There's plenty of guys all throughout sports that just, when the lights get bright, they shrink. We'll see. New regime, new situation. But it's a 3-year deal. Like I said, it's not a Daniel Jones contract. I don't think it'll handicap them for too long if it doesn't work out. I like it overall.
I mean, this has to work out, because I feel like the Seahawks had a good thing going, and yeah, Geno was aging, but you blew shit up and put your faith into Sam Darnold, and I feel like you have more holes on the roster today than you did yesterday. You lost DK, like you need receiving help. You still haven't really addressed the offensive line. The defense is, I think that defense is average at best. Like I think they have some cool pieces, but overall I think they're an average unit. So I mean, but you won 10 games last year, and you were a game away from, you were a tiebreaker away from making the playoffs. So you blew things up, and so yeah, Sam, it has to work out. But I don't think it's a bad contract. Like you said, a guy who played at that level last year, I feel like 33 mil a year is probably just about market value for that guy. So I think the contract's fine. I agree it's not too much to where it's going to handicap them from making other moves, but they have to make those other moves now. You have to beef up the interior of that offensive line. You have to add another playmaker next to JSN. Like there's moves to be made now. So overall, I think it was again, similar to kind of Geno with the Raiders. Like it was probably the best option out there for them, considering they lost Geno. Geno requested a trade, I think it came out, because they didn't want to give him an extension. Right, yeah. So if you were going to lose Geno, I feel like this is a good option.
Even like Dean said, it's a huge age gap too. So like, if they felt like they couldn't go any further with Geno, like maybe they felt, all right, we're 2 years away from seriously competing. Geno's gonna be 35, making 40-something million at that point. Like we can't live with that. So we'd rather have Darnold make at 29 on, in the last year of his contract, and then you see where you're at with that.
But my thing is, and look, the value of the contract isn't the problem with the contract. It's the fact that this was a move that needs to be made in hand with other moves. Like you said before, there were other moves to be made, and you haven't made any of them. There hasn't been any. It was the worst offensive line in football, or one of them last year. And you watched Sam Darnold crumble when he was under pressure, literally under pressure.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, let's bring him into the worst offensive line in the NFL, where he's going to go through that every single game?
But do you think the other parts of the team come before the quarterback? Or do you think the quarterback is the foundation and you build your team around the quarterback?
I think
you
it comes
build
hand
the
in
team
hand.
around- It goes hand in hand.
Okay,
number
but it's
one,
been one day in free agency.
and number two, it also. But
Yeah,
here's
but
the
all the
thing:
marquee
he's
guys
a
are gone.
27-year-old quarterback. This is not a young quarterback where it's like, oh, we're going to draft him.
27 in
And
quarterback world is young.
but that's not what I'm saying. He's been through 7 years of the NFL already, or whatever, however long it's been with Sam. This is not a rookie.
And he just came off his best year of his career.
yes, and came off the 2 worst games of his season.
He threw 4,300 yards and threw for how many touchdowns?
35.
35 touchdowns. It was a good season for Sam Darnold.
It was a very good
Great
season for Sam Darnold in the best situation in the NFL.
Yes.
2 things can be true.
And he's getting paid 33. They didn't break the bank for Sam Darnold.
I agree. I'm just saying this wasn't the move for Seattle. Like,
what was the move?
keep Geno. Pay him. You
Bro,
extend him.
35. If you're complaining about the rest of the team, I think they need more time. I think getting what you can for Geno now, knowing you have those holes to fill, while getting younger and turning back the clock, you give yourself more time. If you wait too long with Geno Smith, he dies on your team. That's it. He dies.
Right.
And you don't have anything else.
I agree.
At least now you
why I'm
have
bringing a guy in.
you turn back the clock 7 years and you could buy yourself more time, which is exactly what they did.
Right, but you say bring a guy. Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes there isn't a guy to go get. They felt like Sam Darnold was a guy worth going to get. You know what I mean? Like
Guys that throw for over
that's how you end
4,000
up paying
yards
Daniel
don't grow on
Jones.
trees.
I'm not disagreeing with that fact. I'm disagreeing with the fact that Sam Darnold is going from one of the best situations. Like, this is simply where I feel.
Imagine we grew on trees.
imagine 4,000-yard passers grew on trees. Like,
There's just a guy in the back that has his backyard. He's like, yeah, this is where you get the 4,300 yards.
it's like some shady ass dude.
You
He's
want
like,
30
hey,
touchdowns? Yeah, get back here. Get back here.
he's like, hey, I might know a place where you can get maybe 4,000.
Roger Goodell's
It could cost
basement.
you a lot. Yeah,
Roger Goodell's greenhouse of NFL players.
it's some farm in like the middle of PA.
Canton, Ohio.
No, I agree though.
Hey, them
I
country
feel like
boys, man.
I feel like that's the perfect way to say it is that the Seahawks, even though we probably feel like they weren't that far away, again they did win 10 games last year. The Seahawks probably felt that they were more than a year away. So I think I agree with you. Turning back the clock a little bit gives you more time to figure it out because this isn't. It's not a rebuild right now in Seattle. It's a retooling period and kind of working out the kinks. So obviously, clearly, it's more than a 1 year process considering all they did in free agency was bring in Sam Darnold. Like this isn't I don't know where they're standing right now unless they have a home run draft. Like this isn't a playoff team looking at it. So they're more than a year away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just looking at it from like what value are you going to get immediately off this contract? And I just don't think, and I guess you're looking at it more as an organizational value. I'm looking at it as like, how is Sam Darnold going to play next year? And I don't think it's going to be pretty football.
The thing is, I think what Chris and I are saying is it's not for next year. It's for next year, the year after, and the year after,
Right.
and possibly giving him another contract in
But
a
you
couple
don't
years.
think you do this to Sam again, right? Like where he has to go through a situation of running for his life, seeing ghosts, and playing some real shit football that's gonna.
I agree with that too. It's going into the next year. Again, this is where things stand right now. They could totally have just a home run draft and we look at it different, but where things stand right now, it's a situation that probably isn't going to lend to good quarterback play. And we've seen Sam Darnold in a situation like that before and it almost ruined him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, can Sam Darnold mentally afford to be in a situation
Yes,
with
that's what I'm
the
saying.
worst offensive line in football? Which they're
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we're
they're
gonna
at
see it.
best a bottom 10 unit right
You
now.
gotta.
You know
I
what
mean, you gotta think that this offseason, next offseason, there's a plan.
Oh, yeah,
to get
100%.
offensive
I mean, they got
line.
they got a second
I
round
would
pick for
hope
DK.
so.
They got a
Right.
second round pick for DK. They got a third round pick for Geno. Like they can go. They still have money. Like they can
Right.
go.
I'm not particularly
Yeah.
too worried about the Seahawks' ability to build some kind of offensive line for Sam. You just paid a quarterback. You want to keep him healthy and
Right.
mentally right. I mean, I think that
What Matt's
There's
saying
something
is
there.
it so bad going into this season that, like, can Sam Darnold
you
mentally
think you're going to
endure
destroy
that?
Sam Darnold year one.
I
Right,
think you
that's what
could,
he's at.
yes.
That's what it's
think you
possible.
could.
I think it's
not.
possible.
Yeah, it's not. I was going to say it's not.
but I'm not
impossible.
going to call that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
You can.
fine.
You can
Yeah.
predict that. I'm not going to predict that Sam Darnold's going to.
I don't want to predict.
I mean,
that.
who'd they
just-
bring in as OC? Clint Kubiak?
Kubiak.
I like that. That's
That's
cool.
a cool move. Very similar to
Yeah.
KOC. But
I mean, they have holes on the roster for sure.
No doubt.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like I mean,
I
your
think
wide
given
receiver
though,
crew is low right now.
I mean, if Geno like Geno asked for a trade, you were gonna have Sam Howell at quarterback. So I feel like this was the best move you can make.
What do you?
I don't know what the guarantees are in it, but I'm sure there's
50.
there's probably an out after the
okay.
second
About
year.
half
Yeah,
guaranteed.
All right.
yeah. So there's after the second year you could get out of it.
55 is
Shit,
guaranteed.
after the first year, they may say, "Yeah, no, we don't want
Yeah.
Sam no more." What do you grade this?
I know I just gave the other one a B plus. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I don't think it's in A territory, but I think it's actually a good contract. I'll give it a B plus.
I think the contract is great, but I do think, like you guys are saying, there's so many other holes on the roster that if you don't do anything else, it could be a bad move. So I'll concur with that. I'll give it B plus.
I'm gonna go with a B. I'm gonna go a tier below the B plus, but I agree with all your guys' points.
I'm gonna go with a C minus.
Wow,
vision.
man.
Jeez,
I see the vision, Dean, but you
that's
ain't
rough.
Yeah,
Not even on the good value. Like doesn't
So
buy
that's
anything.
like that's what you think is going to happen. You think it's so bad going into this year that they're going to ruin him?
I think they could. Yes.
But you don't think that's
No,
gonna
but you
happen?
think that's what's going. If you're grading it a C
Yeah,
minus,
so
I
you
feel
don't
like
think
that's
No,
gonna
no, no.
happen
If
with
I
Geno?
was guaranteeing that was going, no, we just watched
no
Geno do it.
guarantee would be crazy, but like that's what you think. Is gonna
If you had to go one way, or
I
the
would have
other.
given it lower if I really fully believed that. That's why I'm like kind of siding with the fact that I think I could see the vision as to what you guys are saying long term for the next few years. It helps build the team. But I also see where this could go horribly wrong. And I kind of feel very much on the fence about it, which is why I'm dead smack in the middle, C minus or C.
If it was
So-
based off short term, just 1 year, you'd give it an F.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, if it was this year.
They could totally draft a guy still too.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely
One of those
Sure,
third
yeah.
round guys because they have extra picks.
The one
now,
thing they've
too,
given
you know
themselves
what I
is flexibility.
mean? Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on all our socials.
Check out our full pod popping up on the screen right now and any other recent videos we've posted.